and good evening. Bloom, Bremen, Rich, and Thornton Townships tonight. Welcome to our webinar on registering and pre-filing your property tax appeals. I'm Tammy Wendt, and I'm the newly elected commissioner to the Board of Review and very proud to serve as your commissioner. I'm so happy I'm your representative and able to help the community in ensuring that all property taxes are fair and equitable. It looks like we are getting a full house here. We have so many townships tonight, but I love it because this is what we want. We want to get the word out to as many people as we can. We're looking forward tonight to providing you with information on registration and pre-filing your property tax appeals online. We scheduled this seminar with the hopes that we would have solid dates and deadlines to convey, but unfortunately, because of COVID, dates are fluid. We do know that pre-filing, however, is opening July 6th, which is this coming Tuesday. So mark your calendars. This is very important because it's a great opportunity to file your appeal on July 6th or later, regardless of when your township officially opens. So this is great news because this ensures you will not miss your 30-day window to appeal because you've already pre-filed. So as soon as we know the dates and deadlines for your townships, we will post them to our website and social media. If you are registered, you will also be notified proactively. Registration is a great tool because you will be notified on a regular basis of dates and deadlines, and also when your results are ready to view on the website. Tonight, we are fortunate to be joined by Thornton Township Assessor Cassandra Elston, Bloom Township Assessor Nora Gomez, Bloom Township Deputy Assessor Miriam Slaughter, Rich Township Assessor Sam Brown, and Cook County Commissioner Sean Morrison, Thornton Township Assessor Cassandra Holbert. So we have a great showing tonight of elected officials who also love Cook County and the state of Illinois, and I would like to personally thank them for taking time out of their schedules to help promote this seminar and partner with me to ensure that your property taxes are assessed fairly. The reason I ran for this office is because while practicing law over the past 21 years, my experience in real estate and property tax appeals left me with the desire to help improve the property tax system. Like many of you, I see the effects that high property taxes can have on property owners, many of whom are fleeing the county for lower taxes. As a lifelong resident of Cook County, I want this to end. I love this community from its diversity in restaurants to its history and neighborhoods. Cook County is one of the best places to live and work in the United States. I am a South Sider also. That's why I continue to raise my family here today. Like all of you, I want it to stay that way, being a great place to live and work. We have work to do. I know that. When you appeal your property taxes, you're ensuring that your valuation is fair. This helps create strong communities and helps us grow for the future. My staff and myself look forward to working with all of you. So the agenda for tonight will be a short PowerPoint presentation detailing how to register with the Board of Review, which means how to open an account and how to file an appeal on your own and what forms and information you will need when doing so. This will be followed by a question and answer session to address as many questions as we can, so please don't go anywhere. Write down your questions as we go along so that you don't forget them. This is registering and creating your Board of Review account to file your property tax appeal. We, the Cook County Board of Review, are a separate agency from the assessor's office. The assessor determines your assessed value. That is what's ultimately used to determine your tax bill. If you appeal to the Board of Review, our office, we can reduce the assessed value if we find it to be warranted by the evidence. An appeal must be filed to the Board of Review in order to determine whether or not your property has been overassessed. We don't automatically look at your assessed value after the assessor sets the value. You need to bring it to us. Property owners who are residential property owners, which is most of you, I believe, do not need to hire a lawyer to file an appeal. Why register with the Board of Review? Well, registration allows you to be notified by us, the Board of Review, of important dates and deadlines that will automatically be emailed to you. And you can register at any time. There's no deadline for that. You can register through the online appeals portal, which we're going to go through tonight to show you how to do it. And that's located on our website, www.cookcountyboardofreview.com. You'll need to know your township, your name, address of your property, and your PIN number in order to register. And your PIN number is what's on your property tax bill. It's that long number with dashes. If you don't want to do it on the computer, you can register with our office directly by calling 312-603-5542. Pre-filing your appeal. Like I said, the period opens on Tuesday, pre-filing July 6th. This allows all filers to submit their appeal before each township officially opens. Pre-filing ends once your township does open. The township's only open for 30 days. So the Board of Review will open township after the assessor releases their numbers for each township. Property owners can file an appeal when the Board of Review opens their township for appeals each year. So once the schedule is finalized, it'll be available on our website in midsummer. So this is registering or creating your online appeal account. You go to the Board of Review website. This is what you're going to see. Click on where it says submit appeal by that red arrow that you're looking at. You're not submitting your appeal right now. You are registering. Click on submit appeal and that'll take you to the next page. Click here to log into your account, or you can register to create an online account. So you are going to see this blue box. There's going to be home, login, and then submit appeal as guest. You want to click on login/register. Even after you register and you have your own login, you're going to always click that one. Next page, it's going to bring you to the login page. If you're already logged in, put your username and password. For most of you, you're going to register here. So you're going to click on register here. This is where you're going to create a username and password. You're going to enter your name, email, address, and then you're going to confirm it. And that's going to take you here. So after logging into your account or creating a new account, you'll then be prompted to submit an appeal. You can also check on the status of prior appeals in the My Appeals section. Once you have an account, you can always click on the My Appeals box, and this will have your appeals recorded in there for as many appeals as you've ever submitted, starting from the date that you registered. You can always go in there to look at the decisions that have been made for your appeals, or has the decision been made yet on a pending appeal, or is it still pending? So this is going to take you to this page where next to the first red arrow, it's going to say select the type of appeal. Well, the only option there is property over assessed. So it is a drop down box, but there's no other options in there. So we're going to leave that the same. And then it's going to ask for your tax ID number, also known as your property index number. And that's that long number right there that's also on your tax bill. So that's where you enter that number. Then it's going to say, are you a registered Board of Review attorney? On the third arrow, your answer is going to be no. Click on I'm not a robot. That's going to bring you then to the next page. And this is going to ask you if you have any associated PINs. So what that means is if your property has 2 lots or you have 2 PIN numbers, that's where you're going to insert that. But most people will not have this. Now you come to appellant information. You are the appellant. This is how we are going to know who you are and where you live so that we know what to send you as far as dates and deadlines. Type in your name, your address, your city, your state, your zip code, your phone number, and then your email address, and then your email address again, just to confirm it. This will then identify you to us as an appellant that needs to be sent information to this email address for this township and this property. So that's it. You're good. So click done. Now I wanted to address paper filing because I know some people still are not comfortable with the computer and want a paper file. And also, as the assessors on here tonight know, they have people come in all the time to submit appeals, and there are paper forms available at your local assessor's office. On the Board of Review website, you're going to click on forms, you're going to select complaint form, and then you can print it, fill it out, mail it to the Board of Review. Or like I said, just go into your assessor's office, because I know that the assessors that are on here tonight with us are very helpful and want to help you and have an open door policy in helping all of you file your tax appeals. So this is what the paper form will look like. The yellow arrows are the areas that you need to fill in. Appellant, again, that's you, all your information there, the address of the property that you're appealing, if you purchased it within the last 4 years, and the year purchased and the purchase price. You need to sign it. Don't write anything below the red line. And then to the right, those boxes do not list comparable properties. So that's not where you put comps. It's a common mistake. This is just where you would put an additional PIN number if you had it. So most of you will be leaving this area blank. Triennial reassessments. The Cook County Assessor puts a value on almost 1.9 million parcels in Cook County. That is huge. Reassessment of property in Cook County is done in a triennial cycle, which is every 3 years. So the assessor's office alternates between the north suburbs, the south suburbs, and the city of Chicago. So the South, which is us, was just done 2020. So you're feeling the effects of that now, or you will in your second installment. The assessor's office utilizes a mass appraisal process for the assessment. So they're not looking at 1.9 million parcels individually because it's just too big. So they use this process, but we as the Board of Review can look at individual parcels of property, and that is what we do. And each commissioner's staff looks at each property that is appealed, so we can give it the attention that it needs. Filing an appeal with the assessor's office, in addition to filing with the Board of Review. This is a common question that we get. Should I file to the assessor? Should I appeal to you, the Board of Review? Should I do both? Well, the answer is you can do both. You can appeal to the assessor, which is before. If you don't like your result, or even if you do, you file again to us, the Board of Review. The steps to file with the assessor can be found on their website, cookcountyassessor.com. And then, like I said, you can file an appeal with our office after the decision has been made with the assessor's office. We're giving you a Rogers Park example here because we know that the assessor released Rogers Park. If you lived there, your values were recently reassessed by the assessor, notified by the assessor by mail, and then you have 30 days following the release of that new assessed value to file an appeal with the assessor's office. Now, like I said, you have to wait for the assessor to process your appeal, certify, and publish the results. That can take 3 to 6 months. Following that period, the Board of Review then we open our 30-day period for you to file your appeal, and then we render our decision within 2 to 4 months. So ultimately, if you file an appeal to both the assessor and us, it can take 5 to 10 months for you to receive results for both. All right, this is just a chart that shows you the triennial. So we have township, city, north suburbs, and then south suburbs, the reassessment years. Like I said, the city is this year, the south suburbs were in last year, and then our next one will be 2023, and then 3 years after that. These are all the townships that are listed that are in my district. These are just the names of the townships that are all in my district and when they will be reassessed. So this is just a chart that I like because it's visual and you can get your answers real quick. What are the benefits of appealing? Possible reduction. You have an opportunity for multi-year savings. If appealed on the first year of the triennial, someone who lives in Chicago appeals their 2021 triennial assessed value, and the reduction is granted in 2021, that assessed value will be locked in until 2024. So for 3 years, the assessed value cannot change in almost all cases. There's no filing fee. That's another benefit of appealing. So why not? And the Board of Review will not increase your assessment. So I'll leave you with this. When your township opens for filing an appeal, you have 30 days to submit your complaint unless you pre-filed. The process takes 8 to 16 weeks for our office to receive the results of your appeal. If you're registered, you'll receive email notification that your decision is viewable on your account. So you need to go in, log in, and then you can see your results. Any reductions will be reflected on your second installment tax bill. Tax bills come out twice a year. It won't be on the first one, it'll be on the second one. And then we won't increase your assessment. Just wanted to reiterate that. It'll either remain the same or it will decrease. So this is us. We have different ways for you to contact us: email, phone, Facebook, Twitter. We have a YouTube page, my website, tammywendt.com. So the YouTube page and my website are the main places where we're going to have this video as well, so that you can come back and look anytime at the video to help you when you're trying to file your appeals by yourself. And then you can share it with your friends. And if you have any questions, you have all this information here and know how to contact us too. So with that, just remind you that this seminar is only a portion of what our in-person outreach seminars will consist of when we come to your township later this year. COVID has halted in-person seminars, but now that things are opening up, we can assure you that we or another commissioner will be coming to your community. There is some district mapping changes, so I don't know yet what those are going to be and when, but we are here to help you now. So remember that we're providing today's seminar as an extra opportunity to help you understand the appeal process, so that when it does come time to appeal later in the year, you can better understand. So I'm now going to turn this over to my first assistant, Todd Thielman, and I have about 11 analysts here tonight from my staff who are going to help you and take your questions. So I'm signing off. Thank you all again for being here. Todd, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today and learning more about how to appeal your property taxes, the operations of the Board of Review, kind of what we do. We are here to help you. We work for you. Commissioner Wendt makes that clear to everybody that we come in every day and we do our job for the public. So we will have the presentation available on different social media channels, and we'll also send out to the local assessors and the electeds that are joining us tonight that they could post on their sites as well if they would like to. So a couple things that I would just want to highlight is if you had registered and created an account in the past, but you can't remember your user ID or your password, you can go ahead and call the Board of Review and we will refresh your password. Unfortunately, the website does not have a password refresh widget in it. So you'll have to call and we can refresh it for you. The assessor has not determined when your townships will open yet. So we're all kind of waiting for the assessor to give us some indications on that, and they'll mail their assessed values out, and which indicates they are then open for appeal with them. And if you folks want to appeal with the assessor, you know, I recommend it. You'll get your results and whether you're happy or not, and then the assessor will release them to the Board of Review, at which time you can appeal with us. If you did register and pre-file, there's nothing more for you to do. You're already going to be in the queue to appeal. So don't worry about that. That's the beauty of pre-filing. We no longer have to worry about that 30-day window. Because I know I've missed it in the past. You get busy, and so pre-file kind of protects you from that. So it was a good program that we initiated here at the Board of Review. So I'm going to jump right into some questions here. Juanita, all the homeowners exemptions are handled through the assessor's office. In fact, all the exemptions are homeowner exemption, senior freeze exemption, persons with disabilities exemption, returning veterans exemption, veterans with disabilities exemption, long-term homeowner exemption, and a home improvement exemption. So those are the examples of the exemptions that the assessor handles. We do not have any jurisdiction over exemptions. So any questions would really be best answered by the assessor's office on those. And your local assessors can help with those, the township assessor. Mr. Brown, Assessor Holbert, I believe you'd be available to help with those, answer any questions with the exemptions on that side. Thank you, sir. So go ahead and utilize your local township assessors. That's your closest point of contact with the assessor. Believe me, trying to get a hold of somebody in the Cook County Assessor's Office may take a little bit of time and patience. So I recommend reach out to your local township assessor first. When Wendy asked, when listing comparable properties, any advice on what types of properties to compare? I happen to have a home newer than most in the neighborhood, so it makes comparables difficult. Yeah, that's a common problem. So comparables is probably the most difficult part of filing an appeal. If you don't want to take that on, use your local assessor. Your township assessor will help you find comparables, and probably your best resource. If you pre-file and you don't have comparables and you do not send comparables in, we will work your property for uniformity anyways. So if you're pre-filing and you don't have comparables, we will still work it for uniformity. If you have something like an appraisal, if you had an appraisal on your home, or you recently purchased it, those are two really important items that we'd want to see. So if you have that kind of documentation, you're going to want to upload that with your appeal. Those are very important pieces of evidence. Sharon asked, what is the benefit of pre-registering? If you go to the Board of Review website, which the commissioner alluded to, but we're trying to refresh it, there's some stale information on there. There's some things that really aren't intuitive in filling out. You know, for example, when you register, you have to hit submit appeal to begin that. So we're trying to revamp the website. Registration or pre-registration are really the same thing. I don't know why it's called pre-registration on the website, but the advantage of it is we now have the ability to reach out to you with important information. If you don't want to pre-file, we will send you when your township is open, because That changes every year. It's not something you can put on your calendar and say, okay, I need to do this. It's not like April 15th. Like we all know IRS tax date is April 15th. That's not the way the property tax system works. It changes all the time. It's fluid. So registering enables you to be better informed. Just to inform everyone how it works. So there's 3 commissioners and there's 3 separate staffs. And as Commissioner Wendt said, all 3 staffs take a look at every file, and it has to be at least 2 staffs have to agree to an assessed value. It's a check and balance of the office. So if we have a difference of opinion, an assessed value may not be changed. So you have to have at least 2 out of 3 commissioner staffs to agree to anything, whether it's going to be a reduction or a no change. MP, is it accurate that there are no comparable properties needed on the online appeal? That is accurate, but it's not always the best way to go about it. So if your house is unique in any way, you would want to provide comparables. If your house is cookie cutter, if there's 10 houses on your block like yours, you don't really need to provide comparables. We're going to see all those anyways. The way that we look for comparables in our staff, in our process is it's the old real estate axiom of location, location, location. So we want to look at the houses that are closest to yours, and then start expanding our search by using like characteristics. So like square footage, like property type or classification. And then if we can't find enough that are like that are close to you, basically on the same block is where we start. We start casting a wider net, and we'll go out to a quarter mile. And if we can't find enough properties like yours in a quarter mile, we'll go out to a half mile. So that's where we start our comparable search. If you can't find any comparables and you submit your appeal without comparables, it's not, you didn't automatically lose. We will do our job and find comparables in your neighborhood, starting with that checklist that I just mentioned. So why, Stephen, why are the South Suburbs one of the highest in the country? That's a pretty complicated question. Remember, the Board of Review, we are the appellate court for the assessor. So we give the ability of homeowners that don't agree with the assessor to come before us and say, hey, I don't like what the assessor did with my valuation. Please look at it again. So we work for you, but we have to do things based on evidence. We can't just say, I like you, I'm going to cut your assessed value, because at the end of the day, we have to be able to stand by our work. So we're going to do, it's going to be evidentiary based, with comparables, appraisals, recent sales are the primary factors of that. So when taxes become high in a particular area, really where you want to start looking is your taxing bodies. So they're the ones that are actually requesting the money. We just help, and we only look at properties that are appealed, and then once that's done, the taxing bodies are the ones that are actually requesting the funds. And I think if you look at any of your tax bills, the most likely the largest portion of your tax bill is going to be relatable to your local school districts. So become involved in your local school district. Make sure they're spending the money wisely, and that's going to keep tax rates down. When citizens stop looking is when money gets spent unwisely. So start there. I am also a trustee on a local taxing body. I'm a fire trustee. So we levy every year. That means we ask for our budget to be paid for by property taxes. The school districts ask, the municipalities ask, the county asks. You'll see the community colleges. You'll see the Cook County mosquito abatement is on your property tax, forest preserve. So everybody needs some money to operate. And, taxes are, although none of us like paying them, we understand that it keeps our communities safe. It provides protections for different people. It provides services for the community. But our job is to make sure that your assessed value is fair, so you're not paying any more than you should. Stephen, as I know, they're high, but it starts with where the money's being spent, really. So, can you explain the difference in the 2 appeals? I believe, Catherine, your question is The two appeals would be the assessor or the board of review. Like we mentioned, the assessor puts that initial value on your property, and the south suburbs was done last year. So you guys, your assessed value shouldn't change this year unless something happened with your property. You pulled a permit, you put an addition on, or there was a recent sale, you just bought the property, that may change. Otherwise, it should stay the same as last year. And remember, the assessor gave COVID relief last year, so we're still not sure where that's going to kind of fall in line this year. We're waiting, like every homeowner is. We're waiting for the assessor so we can start doing our jobs. But we can't do it until we take jurisdiction of your township. If you appeal at the assessor, you're appealing their value. So remember, they're the ones that place that value on your property. You know, they're not always going to be very open to changing their valuation because they use their methodology to create that valuation. So although you can have success at the assessor, we recommend that you do appeal at the board of review as well. Even if they did give you a reduction, let us take a look at it. We'll be able to, we'll look at your appeal. The assessor's appeal process is detailed on their website. I do not want to misstate facts on their appeal process. So I recommend you go to the assessor website. Always file with the board of review. And you don't have to file at the assessor first to file at the board of review. You could file at the board of review without filing at the assessor. There's a third step to the tax appeal process. It's called the Property Tax Appeal Board. Now, if you want to take that third step, if you want to take advantage of that third step, you have to file at the board of review. If you do not file at the board of review, you lose all rights to file at the Property Tax Appeal Board, also known as PTAB. So I recommend you file at the board of review at the very least. Even if you do not win a reduction, you still have the ability to file at PTAB. That's a whole separate process, a whole separate agency, but it just gives you the right to do that. So I don't want to see anyone lose their right to file at PTAB. Now, remember, mistakes do happen. There's a large human element in this whole process. And if you file at the board of review and a mistake is made, you do have recourse at PTAB. Judy, can I pre-file for Thornton Township? Yes, pre-file is scheduled to open on Tuesday. Barring any last-minute IT issues, pre-file will open on Tuesday, July 6th. Or you can always call the board of review front desk, which incidentally also opens July 6th to in-person. July 6th, in person, the front desk will open. Good question from Jamie. There is significant characteristic mistakes, and you'll see that on your assessor letter. It'll say you have 2 bathrooms when you only have 2.5 or 1.5. It'll say your square foot is different than what you have. Those are characteristic issues that the assessor is aware of. They are going to try to modernize the characteristics. A lot of those are going to require field visits, field checks. So that means where they'll actually send someone out. If it's a square footage issue, they will measure. They do not measure the inside of your house. They measure the outside foundation. They'll never go in your house, but they'll measure the outside foundation. That'll give them an idea of the square footage. If you have something like vaulted ceilings and the assessor has that potentially as 2 separate floors and they're adding the square footage of 2 separate floors, that could be a reason to adjust your square footage. So that's an assessor characteristic issue. We can't correct characteristic issues with your home. We don't have the jurisdiction to do that. But if your square footage is incorrect and you have a plat of survey, and you have evidence that it's incorrect, we can make an adjustment for 1 year only, but we can't change the characteristic. We just need correct evidence, and we could make a 1 year adjustment, but the assessor, and then you have to request a field check with the assessor. Incidentally, in 2020, they did 0 field checks because of COVID. So they're way behind on getting field checks done. It's going to take a couple of years to get characteristics corrected. Let's see. Do you pre-register even though you cannot appeal in 2023? I think, Steve and Valerie, maybe because of the triennial you're thinking. No, the triennial is not the only time you can file an appeal. Things happen in neighborhoods, sales occur, property values change. You can appeal every year. And I advocate for everyone to appeal every year. So you can pre-register every year. Last year it opened on July 6, 2020. This year we're going to open it on July 6, 2021. So pre-file is a great thing to do, but you do have to pre-file every year, just like you'd have to appeal every year. But you only have to register once. Tina, when you are completing the forms, do you have to compare properties? If you're doing them online or on paper, you do not have to. It's preferable if the evidence is, if you provide good evidence, and again, it's location, characteristics, square footage, the age of the property is also very important. We will use those comparables. We're also going to look at comparables and kind of cast a wider net. So we want to make sure that there's uniformity. We can't just compare 3 houses. We got to compare, 10 houses or 8 houses or 7 houses to get a better picture of the value of the property. CLK, where can we see what factors were considered in a reduction, i.e. did these reductions include COVID? If it's from the assessor, I'm not sure. I don't want to misstate what the assessor does. If you want to know why a particular property got a reduction at the board of review, if you're that homeowner, it'll be available for you to find in the notes from the analysts. We include, one of the things that we made sure our staff does is we put notes in there of what the story is, why a reduction was given or why it was not given. The board of review did not give COVID reductions. The assessor gave COVID reductions. So that wasn't one of the things that we did. It was the assessor had already done it. So what is the percentage of times your office has ruled against the assessor, Stephen Valerie? I don't have that data. A point of data that I do have, and remember, Commissioner Wendt was elected in November, so we just took office in December. So I don't have that data, I'm sorry. But one thing that I did check in on was in 2019, residential appeals that were filed by attorneys were successful about 50% of the time. Residential appeals that were filed by homeowners were successful about 55% of the time. So it goes back to you do not need to hire an attorney to file at the board of review. We actually hold attorneys to a higher standard. We do not let them get away with not providing comparables or not having complete documentation. Where if a homeowner appeals, we give them the benefit of the doubt, and we will look for the comparables. And if there's mistakes, we will contact the homeowner. We also allow homeowners to come to hearings. So hearings is an option as well. And when you file, not in pre-file, you can't request a hearing in pre-file. But if you file, if you did pre-file and your township opens, you can go in and amend your file during that 30-day period. So if you did want to do a hearing and you had pre-filed, once you get the email that your township is open, you can go back into your account then and ask for a hearing. And the hearings are a telephone hearing with one of our great analysts. You can get any of the, I think we have 93 analysts total between all 3 staffs. You can get an analyst and you can talk about your property. Now that analyst can't make a decision because remember, it still has to go to 2 more commissioners. They'll take notes, they'll make their recommendations, and then it goes on to the other 2 commissioners' staff. So don't forget, a hearing is if your property has something that you think you want to highlight, a hearing is a good way to do that. Let's see. I'm a bit confused. Lynn, sorry, I'm a bit confused. Do we file with the assessor's office first and then with the BOR? Yeah, so the assessor did not release any of your townships yet. So you will get a letter in the mail. But also, I would suggest pay attention to the assessor's website. They will list the mailing dates and contact your local township assessor, and they will help you. Is the process the same for commercial property, Beverly? So commercial property, it depends. If it's held in any kind of corporation, you are required to use an attorney. I didn't make these rules. Commissioner Wendt didn't make those rules. You're required to use an attorney for anything that's in a corporation, LLC. So it is a slightly different process.
I'm just glad to be here and really appreciate you guys putting on this outreach event. It's important that we get to as many of our constituents as possible. And for those in Rich Township that will have questions, you can call our office at 708-228-5037. And me or one of my capable staff should be able to help you with questions that you may have.
Hello, everyone. Again, I want to thank Commissioner Wendt for coming out and providing this event for us. It's always helpful to be able to touch and talk to people who, we rarely see. But thank you for coming out to our township. Again, if you have any questions for Bremen Township, our office hours are by appointment only at this time. You can call the office 708-333-1591, extension 2, option 2. 333-1591, and schedule an appointment if you need to come in. And thank you again for coming out.
Well, I appreciate everybody coming. I know we had a few other electeds on here. Thank you for being that voice of your community and getting our voices out there. We're here to help you. Remember, we work for you, and we look forward to coming out to your communities in person in the future. If it's not Commissioner Wendt, it'll be one of the other commissioners, maybe Commissioner Rogers would be in your district as well. It depends on where the mapping ends up, but we're all part of the greater Board of Review team, so we're happy to help. Appreciate everybody. Have a really good night. Have a really good holiday weekend. Be safe and reach out if you need us.